Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 16 is entitled as Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the divine and demonic nature. Sloka 24. tasmāc śāstra-vidhānoktaṁ pramāṇaṁ te kāryākārya-vyavasthitau jñātvā śāstra-vidhānoktaṁ kartum ihārhasi. This sloka is the last sloka of this chapter, where Krishna confirms that Shastras are important. It is not an optional one. The instructions that are given in the Shastra must be valued and practiced for one to gradually elevate from the conditioned position. Let's learn the meaning of the sloka. Tasmāc, therefore, kāryākārya-vyavasthitau, regarding actions that can be done, karya, and those that ought not to be done, akārya. Vyavasthitau, having proper discrimination or determining what is to be done, what is not to be done. Śāstraṁ, only the scriptures, the Vedas, as clarified and explained by Dharma Shastra, the ihārhasas, the Puranas, etc. Te, your pramāṇaṁ, authority. Chapter 15, Sloka 15, we went through what pramāṇaṁ means and the various pramāṇams. Prama means knowledge. That tool which becomes the cause of knowledge is called pramāṇaṁ. Through that pramāṇaṁ, what we cognize or know is called prameyyam. One who's taken shelter of pramāṇaṁ is pramāta. Therefore, that which gives good knowledge on what is right action and what are forbidden action is called pramāṇaṁ. Te pramāṇaṁ, authority. As we are all bound in this dark world of transmigration, repeated birth and death, this pramāṇaṁ throws light on us to be out of the darkness. Iha, in this dark world of matter which is being ruled by one's karma, where actions conforming to the Shastra are only to be done, śāstra-vidhānoktaṁ, as declared in the injunction of the Shastra, that is, who is the absolute Lord, the absolute truth. What is the process to attain that absolute truth? Such knowledge is there in Shastra. Jñātvā, knowing in this world, karma, actions, kartum ihārhasi, you should perform. Translation: one should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. As we are seeing about the asuras and devatas, asuras do not decide what is right and what is forbidden. Whatever is forbidden, for them it is right, and whatever is right, for them it is forbidden. Vedas are the authority, for them it is not. They are the authority. The Lord is the supreme being. He is Purushottama. For them, He is the supreme Ishvara. He is Purushottama. In this way, for anything that is said in the Shastra, they go against it, doing contrary things. Only if one has the Shastra Vashyata, that is, one who is attracted by the Shastra, faith in Shastra, scriptures, one will get the knowledge of the Tattva, of the absolute truth. That is the only means to attain the absolute truth, Sri Krishna. Without knowledge, one cannot attain him. So the basic requirement is having faith in the Shastra. To get the faith in the Shastra, one needs to know both divine and demoniac nature and its merit and demerits. By knowing the merit and demerit, one will know that being divine, one will be able to develop faith in the Shastra. By having the faith in the Shastra, one will get the knowledge of the absolute truth, and by which one will attain that absolute truth. Of course, not just having knowledge is sufficient. With that knowledge, one tries to implement that knowledge in practice through the process of karma, jnana and bhakti. It is through the practice of Krishna consciousness that one attains Krishna. That is, a person who performs karma yoga should be in Krishna consciousness. A person who performs jnana yoga should be in Krishna consciousness. And the person who performs bhakti yoga, of course without saying, should be in Krishna consciousness. The sloka starts, tasmāc, therefore, because the person who conducts himself whichever way he likes, based on his own will not get any kind of happiness anywhere. Whereas those who conduct himself with the accordance with the Shastra will attain the happiness, because he does things which are instructed in the Shastra, what to do and what not to do. Kāryākārya-vyavasthitau, in deciding what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. If I am going to drive on the highway, on a road, I need to know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable based on the rules of the government. Just because I know how to drive doesn't mean that I can make my decision how I want to drive on the roads. Of course, the free will is given to all the individual, but there are guidelines which is put. Within that given guidelines, one has that free will which can be exercised. That too, it should not be against the guidelines. The term karya and akarya are not used here in the sense of what is to be produced and what is unfit to be produced. It is appropriate to say they mean here upadeyam and anupadeyam. Upadeyam is accepting in one's mind what the Shastra have laid down. Anupadeyam is rejecting in one's mind what the Shastra have forbidden. We have already seen earlier that the asuric persons always lean towards the contrary perception of what is being told in the Shastra. They practice all weird things. Therefore, it must be pointed out here that their understanding and actions are both contrary. Hence, the term upadeya means view and practice. That is what being used here. Thus the meaning is as regards discriminating what is tattva and what is not, and also in discriminating what action can be accepted for performance and what should not be accepted. The important point is that the term kāryākārya refers also to tattva and atattva. That's the first half of the sloka. The second half of the sloka says, jñātvā śāstra-vidhānoktaṁ karma kartum ihārhasi. Śāstra-vidhānoktaṁ. What is said in the Shastra, which are only Krishna's commandments. Vidhanam informs us of what we don't know. Jñātvā means after knowing. Without knowing what is the right thing to be done, what is the wrong thing to be avoided, these people continue to do things on their own. As Krishna has stated in the 9th chapter, 23rd Sloka, yajante avidipurvakam. These asuric people do not perform the ceremonies as per the procedures sanctioned by the Shastra. Hence, their rituals cannot give results in full. And in the 24th Sloka, Krishna said, Natumam abhijananti. Without a proper understanding of this truth, the truth that I alone, the bestower of any rewards, they will fetch very limited results, and those results they obtain will also perish very quickly. Hence it is clear that the asuric type of people do not have clear knowledge about matters regarding the absolute truth and the means to attain the absolute truth. Absolute truth means Brahman. Brahman is Krishna. This makes very clear that the sattvic type of persons are just the opposite of asuric person. So the key message from this sloka is that Krishna conveys one should understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sri Krishna himself, who is the highest reality. There is no reality above him or equal to him. And what works contributes to attaining Krishna are all instructed in the Shastras. Therefore, Arjuna, without any addition or subtraction, you should simply conduct yourself according to what has been stated in the Shastra. Why? Śāstra-vidhānoktaṁ. The Shastras are my commandments. When an instruction is given, the complete set of instruction needs to be followed. One cannot pick and choose those instructions as they like. It's like, yes, I will drive as per the speed limit, but I will not follow the signals because that's not my favorite. One cannot do that. Or I will follow the speed limit. In addition, I will also browse my phone, watch movie, etc. Or add additional people into my car than what is recommended. We cannot subtract the laws. We cannot make addition to the laws. We simply have to follow the laws that have been given to us when we are driving. Likewise, when we are following the Shastra, we cannot subtract things from that, or we can't make addition to it. We simply have to follow what has been said in the Shastra. Therefore, Krishna says, kartum ihārhasi, kartum tvam ihārhasi. Being a recipient of my glance at the time of birth and belonging to the divine type of being, you are qualified to adapt what the Shastra ordains. In other words, without getting deluded by the deceptive statements of the deceitful people, you should always perform the yogas that I have laid out to you so far, especially the Bhakti Yoga. That is the essence of my instruction, my command in the form of the Vedas. There are people always around us who try to discourage us when we try to follow the scriptures, follow what we heard from the scriptures. So Krishna warns us that we have to be very, very careful, extra careful, to not to be deluded by such deceptive statements of such people. Rather, we should be very strong in our Krishna conscious practices. To conclude, the self-willed person, that is asuric person, who act based on their ideas, do not get any happiness anywhere in this world in the heaven, then where is the question of spiritual world for them? Hence, in this dark world, dark is not about light or presence of light or absence of light. It is about the knowledge that we don't have. And because we are under the sway of karma, we should know that Shastra is our only authority in deciding what is acceptable and what is not. Therefore, understanding very clearly that the Shastras are nothing but the commands of the Lord, which must be taken on our head as the law and order and try to perform as per the instruction given in the Shastra for our own benefit. The action that we perform should be following the injunctions enjoined in the scriptures. In our next session, we will summarize the entire chapter as we do always and conclude the chapter. Tasmāc śāstraṁ pramāṇaṁ te kāryākārya-vyavasthitau jñātvā śāstra-vidhānoktaṁ kartum ihārhasi. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Namaste. Hare Krishna.